Hi, I'm Candace Bourdain. This is Fitness and Harmonies. Today we're going to do a yoga practice and I'm calling it Carry That Weight. So whether it's an emotional weight that we're all holding on to right now or they're physical weights, again, this is the time of year for us to start collecting, cleaning out and moving things. Whether it's emotional or physical, it puts a stress on the body. Now, our bodies adapt and get better because of stress. So stress isn't always a bad thing. What's a bad thing is to never move the stress. So emotionally, feelings get lodged in our physical body and muscles become tight and the heart becomes racing and the mind becomes agitated. And for a lot of us, that becomes a constant battle. It just continues and continues. And it becomes so usual that we don't even realize that we're even under this heavy emotional burden anymore. It's as if you had gained, 3 or 5 pounds and you just forgot it's there because it's just always been there. It doesn't mean it's healthy to hold on to it all that time. Physically, though, our muscles get better because of the adaptations they create because of what we call stimulus. Stimuli are the things that push against your body. It could be environmental. It could be that it's just, it's heavier out or we have to climb more stairs. So what I'd like you to do for today's practice is grab your dumbbells, light weights, maybe 2 to 3 pounds, something like that. If you want, put them down, don't use them at all. You always can just use your body as natural resistance. So let's start here. Let's start all the way down on the back because I want to start with a breathing practice to bring you into this space. So roll down slowly. Come to the floor. Make your spine long. Inhale through your nose. Now exhale through your nose. All I want you to do for about 30 seconds is arrive here. So that means your attention goes from out there. So hopefully you can hear me well. You don't really have to see me well. But if you can hear me well, follow my voice. So listen carefully. Inhale. Exhale. Arrive fully. Bring your mind here to your somatic senses. Somatic is just a word that means your body. The largest part of our brain and our nervous system is devoted to the body, to the experience that the body is in now. The smaller part of our brain, maybe more important, has to do with thinking, planning, and making decisions. So I'm asking that smaller part to redirect its thinking into the body. So we're turning the mind into itself and expanding your awareness to the body, to the soma. In yoga, the word is shava, the body, the shava. All I'm asking you to do now is to breathe in and fully arrive. Because regardless of the amount of weights that you lift, whether that's physical or emotional, the most important thing is that you are able to process, to go from a state of high agitation, stress, a heavy load, to releasing all of that. So now begin squeezing the pelvic floor muscles. Physically, all weight is supported by the lower abdominals. So find the pelvic floor muscles and squeeze them. This in yoga, this is called a bandha, a binding. Bind the pelvic floor muscles. Now bind the lower abdominal muscles. So it's as if the bottom of you has become strong and holding. If you ever had something that leaks, we all know we don't like that. We don't need something, a vessel that doesn't hold is useless. Now notice I've asked you to hold the pelvic floor and the abdominals. What else are you holding? Are you holding your shoulders? Are you holding your neck? Are you gripping with your hands? Now, what is your heart doing? Being able to tell when your heart is racing is an important way to know when you have emotions to process. So we have to lift the emotional weight and move it. But first we have to know it's there. So just like I asked you to go find your dumbbell, I want you to find the emotional weight that you've been holding. You don't have to know why. In fact, it doesn't matter why. You can't stop emotions from happening any more than you can change the weather from happening. Now slowly bring both knees into your chest. Use your hands to pull. Follow my voice. Inhale. Exhale. Just like our breath moves, your body and your mind process. They move through the fog and the cloud and the rainstorm. I see negative emotions as a rainstorm. That's my visual image. And I carry that cloud with me. I make sure to bring it everywhere I go. It brings me comfort. But for today's practice, I'm going to work on knowing that I am love and I am loved. 2 more slow breaths. You may have let go of the pelvic floor. Just notice that. When you are lifting a weight, you have to contract and hold the bottom. Now release the feet to the floor. Stretch the arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale. Exhale, release the back. Try that again. Inhale. Exhale, arch the back. So we're squeezing the low back muscles. Inhale. Exhale, release. Do that again. Exhale to squeeze. Exhale to release. So being able to tell when a muscle is contracting. Now the easy way to contract a muscle is to put a heavy load on it and not drop the load. So let's say you go to lift something heavy. It's time to move furniture, right? So you can vacuum under it or something. Your muscles are going to contract. But are the right ones going to contract? Who knows? So being able to tell when it's contracting and when it's not helps you redirect those forces. Now relax your low back. Drop your knees over to one side. Maybe let the hips twist over too. Inhale deeply and expand almost like a skirt of muscles around your waist. And then squeeze those muscles when you exhale. 2 more times. So I want you to learn how to trust your inner wisdom and know that your inner wisdom and your well-being are always close. You don't think so because there's a curtain, there's like a veil of worry, stress, and fear. Move your knees and hips over to the other side. Enjoy these first few moments of arriving. Go inside. Allow yourself space, mental and physical space. 2 more breaths. Witness what muscles, like the pelvic floor, are engaging or are relaxing. Good, so now roll to your side. Open your eyes so you can see where you're going. Push off the floor, roll up. I want to come around to hands and knees. Once you transfer your body weight onto your hands and knees, spread your fingers out. Because we're going to be on hands and knees, I want you to press your body weight into the the palm here right underneath the fingers, not the heel, but the palm underneath the fingers. So press into that area, almost like you're lifting the heels of your hands up. Then put the thumb and then that mound of your thumb muscle down on the floor. So imagine that there's 3 points below your thumb, below your pinky, and below your pointer finger. Press those 3 points into the floor. Now spread your fingers out and press your finger bones all the way down to the tips. Keep the heel of the hand over here by the outer pinky. Keep that a little bit up. So there's only 3 points really pressing down: the thumb, the index, and the pinky mounds. Now engage the abdominals and pull them inward. Now pull the shoulders down from the ears.
Yeah, but I'm doing yoga.
Raise the abdominals, pull them in. Exhale up to cat. Wave into cow.
It's who I said.
Going.
Oh.
Cat. Cow. Wave the spine. So trust that your inner wisdom is there. You may not know it. That's a funny thing about wisdom. It's there, but sometimes you can't access it. And so when something happens, like if I were to say what's happening in the next couple of days, socially, politically, you would automatically clench up, right? Because there's a lot of stress and conflict. So wave through your practice and process anything you find there, like you're finding little rocks, like a rock in your shoe. You have to do something about it. You have to take karma. In yoga, that karma means action. You have to take action. Come back to a flat spine. Bring one hand to the center of the mat. Bring one hand out to the side. Now practice reaching that arm straight out and pull the shoulder in. The arm goes out and in. So I'm trying to get you to move your shoulder blade out and in so that you can find those muscles that hold the shoulder blade tacked on the back. Now squeeze and hold. Squeeze both shoulder blades. So this other one that's holding you, squeeze that too. Squeeze the abdominals. Pause. Notice how your mind automatically goes to the worst possible reason. 2 breaths. That's called automatic thinking. And we all have it because this has happened before. Bring that arm down, stretch the other arm out. Do that same thing where your arm comes out of its socket and then you pull the arm back in the socket. Out and in. So your shoulder blade is like going out and in, like it's kind of cleaning the counter. Out and in, out and in, like you're broadening your chest and then squeezing your chest. Now squeeze and hold both shoulder blades, the one on the floor too. 2 breaths. And then come down. Push back into child's pose. When we're doing weightlifting or muscle training, there's 3 words we have to acknowledge. One is specificity. That just means that our body adapts and learns to do the things that we do. So our body is not going to translate lifting dumbbells into moving furniture. They're 2 different things. We lift dumbbells to just make muscle. Hypertrophy, there's another big word, I'm sorry. It just means make the muscles bigger. Hypertrophy. 3 breaths. Fully arriving. Inhale and exhale. Let's try this again. Come up to hands and knees. This time, pick up a light weight, 2-3 pounds, something like that. Shift this other arm closer to the center so it can hold your body, and then row this elbow up, squeezing the abdominals, and then back down. So we're rowing the elbow up, the elbow stays in close to the body, not winging out, not twisting out, but in close. Now, when the weight goes up, your abdominals go in. So lift up and squeeze the abdominals without twisting the body. Exhale, squeeze. Exhale, squeeze and hold. Another important principle for weight training or making muscles bigger is overload. In other words, we have to lift something heavier and heavier to make the muscle change. We always lift the same weight, it's not going to change. And come down. Let's try the other side. So this hand's a little bit closer to center for balance. Row the elbow up, squeeze the abdominals, and down. Now remember that hand on the floor. Remember the contact points? It's the thumb, the index, and the pinky. Mounds on the palm. Inhale, squeeze the abdominals as you exhale. Keep the spine long, good. If you're feeling like lifting up heavier weights, do that. If you're feeling like not using weights, do that. Trust your inner wisdom. I trust myself. Now squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold. And then release. Let's put this weight down, but come up into a kneeling pose. So your knees are shoulder hip width apart. The toes are tucked under so that you're holding on. Bring the hands to the low back, that top rim of the pelvis. All we're going to work on is pushing the pelvis forward and then releasing. So my hips kind of want to stay a little bit back. So my hands are encouraging my hips to go forward and then release. So in your own time, practice this. And then notice what the sensation is. Being able to read sensations is how you know when you're under stress. So often we automatically go into defense mode in real life that we don't even realize that we're experiencing a sensation, like we're hurt, like we're being challenged, like we're feeling under attack. So one thing we can practice is create the somatic sensation of peace. So push the top rim of the pelvis forward, hold it there. Align the head, that means ears and head slightly back. Close your eyes and imagine a current, like an electrical current, moving from your knees up the front of your body, and it's charging your heart. As you're breathing in, right out, we're charging the heart and creating the somatic sensation of peace, 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 peace. 2 more breaths, charging up the heart full of peace, and then open your eyes. We'll bring the palms back to the floor. Remember those 3 contact points. Now press the fingers down and lift the hips up and move to downward dog. We don't really have to lift dumbbells because our minds can contract the muscle and put the load on the muscles, but we are. 2 breaths. Then walk your feet forward. Slowly tiptoe. Now I'm going to say grab your weights. If you have bigger ones, use the bigger ones this time because I'm going to use them like blocks. If you have blocks, I forgot to take my blocks out. Use blocks here. Now try bracing your abdominals. Now for a lot of us, this is a really serious hamstring stretch. So you're saying, well, don't add on, Candace. I'm still working on the hamstrings. Then do that. Work on the hamstrings. Remember, we're trying to fully arrive and read the body. Try extending one leg back. Brace your abdominals and try bending the supporting knee and then straightening it. Brace the abdominals, bend the supporting knee, and straighten it. Try a few more times. Alternately, you could come up to standing and hold on to the chair that's in your room. That would be another way to do this. We're just putting weight pressure on the muscles of the leg. Inhale, exhale. This is hard, so I'm going to guess that this is one of those moments where you're in like a little bit of a challenge. Bend and hold. Try lifting this back leg or not. That's up to you. A lot of balance going on, a lot of focus, a lot of action, a lot of overload. 2 more breaths. Bring that leg down. Let's try the other one. So step that other leg back, toe on the floor for balance. Then the supporting knee, bend and lift. Bend and lift. Notice where your body weight is sort of falling. It shouldn't all be on your hands. This isn't a handstand. We're trying to put all the weight on the supporting leg. Notice your automatic thoughts. Like if I were to say squat or something, you would automatically go, this is going to be hard. My knee doesn't bend. So be careful of those automatic thoughts. They assume the worst. Bend and hold because things have happened to you before. So you're right. Think bad things happen. You're not wrong. Validate that. But don't assume that's what's happening now. If you want, lift this back leg up. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep finding lift from the pelvic floor up the spine. And then bring that leg down. We're going to walk the hands up to the knees. Pause there. Bend the knees. Sit down in a chair. Pause there. Put your body weight a little further back in that chair, like you're going to scooch back into the chair. Now brace the abdominals more. 3 breaths. Heart is racing, right? Thoughts are agitated. Come all the way up with a flat back. We're doing that by bending at the knees. Bring the hands together. Inhale, circle up. With the palms facing each other, lean over to one side. Inhale up and lean. Inhale up and lean and hold this time. Close your eyes and gain balance. This is called half moon. Some people call this half moon pose. Some people call that other pose we just did half moon or crescent moon. So find the lift. The feet are pushing down, and that's like a coil springing energy and action up. Lift, lift, lift. Remember, we're trying to program the mind to somatically create peace. That means to have your body release the stress it's been holding. When you're ready, inhale up, exhale to the other side, and hold. Close your eyes so you can feel. I want you to fully arrive and find the beauty. There's beauty within. There's just that there's something covering up your view. That's all it is. That cloud is going to dissipate. It's going to move on. And that beauty eventually will be visible again. Another breath. Vibrate energy up the body. Here we go. Inhale, come up, open your eyes. Exhale, dive to forward fold. Step forward and back. I'm going to say plank pose, but how are you feeling today? Is plank pose hands and toes, or is plank pose hands and knees, or is plank pose forearms and knees, or toes? That's where I'm going to land. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is that you're reading your body and making sure that you're giving it what it needs. 2 breaths, keeping the shoulders broad, keeping the abs pulled in. Drop down and move to child's pose. So walk back. 3 breaths. We're going to make our way all the way back up. So one of the things we're doing is going up and down, because that's another thing we need to learn to do safely. Come up into hands and knees. Push back into downward dog. Step forward to forward fold. Pause. Overload the body with breath, with oxygen, with a cleansing action. That I'm creating space, like my boundaries are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm having more and more body. Because your body tissues are always cleansing. Your lymphatic system is always cleansing. So the more fluid we can push through there, the better it is. 2 more breaths. So then bring your hands to your knees, come halfway up, brace the abdominals, bend the knees, hold on. Now look around and see if you can grab those weights from here. So you may have to bend your knees more because maybe the ground is further down for you. So grab those weights, bring them up to your knees, come back to sort of that high chair and brace your abdominals. Let the arms hang and brace your abdominals. Now just pull the shoulder blades together and release. Together and release. Squeezing your abdominals. I'm really big on strengthening the back muscles. That's sort of a thing of mine. To make sure that you're noticing how your back muscles give you support. Breathe in, breathe out. Raise the abdominals. So make the front body interact with the back body. They're not separate things anyway. 2. Now squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold. And then put the weights on your thighs to push off and come up with a flat back. I want you to turn or just step out wide. I'm turning because so you can see me. And take the legs very wide, 4, 5 feet apart. For me, it's 3 or 4. Then with the tailbone rocked a little bit under, sit down by bending the knees. Check that this knee is pointing at that second toe, the one next to the big toe. Shift left and right until you feel buoyant and strong. Bring the elbows in and come down. All we're going to do is bicep, the arms up and down. So for today's practice, I'm going to keep the arms close into the body. A lot of times with exercise, you'll see a lot of arms going out and in and up and overhead, but we don't typically move heavy weights out there. So I want you to learn how to bring the weight close to your body. You should always think close to, even if it's something you don't want to touch, I'd rather you bring it in close to your body than try to lift it up out there. Now hold halfway and crisscross the weights in, cross each other, and out. Brace the lower abdominals. Remember that pelvic floor? No leaky pot. Keep sitting down. Where are you going? Come down with me. Breathe in, breathe out. Now this should be really stressful. This is adapting to stress in the environment. 2 and 1. Let the arms come down, stand up because you want to. Turn one foot in, facing that side, and the other foot towards the short edge of the mat. Good. Let's bring the weights to the waist. That's where I like them. And then bend this front knee. I got to align. I can see my knees out of alignment there. Remember, knee doesn't go past the toe. That's important. And then up. Try that a few times. Squeeze your abdominals and control this front leg. Bend and hold. Take this front hand, the one, and let it hang on the inside. Then tip your upper body over and back up. Squeezing your abdominals. So really give your abs a workout here. Good. You're doing good. Come down and hold, come down and hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now push the arm into the leg and push the leg into the arm and hold. 2 more breaths. Stay with your breath. And then come up. We're going to switch. So turn that foot in, then turn the other one the other way. Let the hands wherever they're safe. For me, they're on the hips. Bend what's now the front knee and straighten right. Check that you're not going too far. Give your body breath. More important than anything while we're doing this is give your body breath. And that gives your mind space to listen. We always say listen to your body. What do we mean? That a big part of your brain is dedicated to feeling what the body is going through. Bend and hold, bend and hold. Take this front arm and let it hang. Then lean over and come up. You should be able to feel the waist muscles contract. Now, those are muscles a lot of us don't want to get larger, but don't worry. They're not going to get much larger. That's not going to be an issue. Breathe. Breathe rhythmically and smoothly through. Keep lifting up the lower belly. When you're ready, come down and hold, come down and hold. Now push the arm into the leg and the knee into the arm. So inner thigh, really squeezing hard. Two more breaths. Keep the pressure on. Remember, our body's going to change because of this pressure. And then come up. All right, so carefully walk back to center. Bend the knees. We're going to put the weights down and see if you can come down. Now, the answer may be absolutely no. I cannot come down. So meet me down on the floor. But being able to come down this way is going to serve you when you have to pick up something heavy. And you may say, oh, well, I don't pick up anything heavy. Good. I'm glad you don't have to. Come down onto the floor. Let's try a twist here. Bend one knee in. Foot on the floor, stretch the other leg out. That leg that you just bent, wrap your arms around and give it a big hug. Now with your eyes closed, the focus here is on lengthening the spine up. Higher. So the top floor of your head is rising up. Feel, kind of get airy, kind of get spacey. And go up and up and up. Above all, I want you to witness that you create the stories that you suffer from. Because our minds automatically assume the worst and create a story around that. You expected something to happen, and when it didn't, you had a strong emotion. You're not wrong. That's irrelevant. The fact is, it's happening. Just give it space. That's all. It's okay to have a feeling. Trust your deepest self that you'll figure out what you need and you'll learn to create the happiness you deserve. One more breath like this. And release. Let's go to the other side. So one knee in. Remember, keep the spine straight. If you can't get this knee in, then walk your leg out. Twist and hug the knee. Once you get there, close your eyes. Don't focus on twisting any further. Lift the top floor up and up. All we're doing is giving the body space now to adapt, to change, to process. Focus now on creating a smooth breath. Smooth breath. Smooth breath. Know how quickly your mind gets distracted and it starts sort of creating and chewing on something irrelevant, something that's not actually happening. When you're ready, release that and then make your way down to the back. I'm going to go back where we started. So roll down, close your eyes. I don't care what posture you're in. You could be in a twist here. You can be in a figure 4 glute stretch, whatever stretch or whatever position you want to take on. I want you to close your eyes. And so before we get ready to go into Shavasana, asana, the seat of the body, that's another way to say that. I want you to notice the body. We've put stress and load on the muscles. We worked a bit on the shoulders, back of the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. We worked a bit on the low back and the side waist. We worked a little bit on the leg muscles, maybe not more than we normally do. But just notice that there is a connection between your thinking brain and your feeling. By feeling, I mean the senses. Like I can feel the air temperature. I can feel the clothing on my skin. I can feel the floor. If you're in a twist or something, go to the other side. So whatever you're doing equally on the other part of you. But continue talking to your feeling. So there's part of your brain that does all this high order virtual reality, planning, decision making, calculating. But most of your brain is in the real world, feeling your heart rate, feeling your respiratory rate, feeling temperature, feeling pains and aches and pressures. Give that part of your brain the voice. Keep your breath work going. This is what fuels your attention. Otherwise, you'll start thinking about something else. And so what we're doing is we're learning the pattern of how a sensation like, I don't know, my shoes are too tight, becomes an emotion. I'm never happy when I'm wearing these shoes. Why do I even try? I shouldn't have bought them. I'm so dumb. So notice the pattern of peace and happiness. So now move your body into Shavasana. So the goal in Shavasana is there's no more effort. That whatever you've been doing, there were the movement patterns and the challenge and the stress, that's all gone. I'd like you now to set your attention free. Soothe yourself. Maybe you have been through a lot recently. Be generous and be accepting. You poor baby. You deserve to be happy. You poor thing. You are a good person. You deserve to be well. You deserve to be treated kindly. Now be everywhere at once. At the same time, be nowhere. Nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to be. Create a safe place where you are supported. Now be a spacious presence. That grows and grows. Now do the heavy lifting, do the hard work of forgiving yourself for suffering. I am the love that I seek. That spacious presence that's been growing is love. You are the love that you seek. And love is your natural state. Now float above the clouds of pain and suffering, of worry and fear. Float, put more space between you and that suffering. Now that cloud of worry and fear, pain and suffering, at first it lightens. It brightens. It spreads out. And then it evaporates away. So now you see the beauty. Now you see the beauty outside, and you feel the happiness inside. Begin breathing. A relaxed and soft, compassionate breath. You don't have to control everything. The outcome is unfolding, with or without you thinking about it. Be open to the unfolding. Follow your breath in. Follow your breath out. You can soothe yourself anytime you need to. When you're ready, begin to roll to your side. Take your time opening your eyes. And then pushing up. We come together up to a seated pose. We bring our hands together and our thumbs to our heart. This represents the connectedness of me to you to the universe. Roll the shoulders right and left until the shoulder blades pull back together, then down. Inhale and circle up, touching the whole universe. And exhale, coming back to the center where that weight has been lifted. Namaste.